Started slow as Phoenix. They just had a brutal opening 18 minutes. Couldn't get it going on either side of the ball, but made it interesting. Of course, not sure where to start. Tim, a lot here. Do you now that you've had some time to kind of digest this game? What is your biggest takeaway from what you saw and witnessed and called yesterday?
Well, the biggest takeaways obviously Kawhi Leonard was the best player on the court yesterday night. He played exceptionally well, and it went pretty much the way Tyronn Lue wanted it. He knows the starting five, the Suns dominate. We know that. But where Tyronn Lue feels that he can win the game is the bench, and that's exactly what happened. The bench points were 34-10. So, you extrapolate the numbers and everything, that's 24-point difference that the starters made up and tried to. So, and the little things matter. Obviously getting rebounds, but that's all five guys. Obviously everybody's sitting there and the DeAndre Ayton and the bigs, but who is the little guy that was getting the rebounds and keeping it alive? It was Russell Westbrook who was not putting the body on him. So it takes five guys in the whole scenario. Kawhi Leonard was the best player. Monty needs more strength, more output from his bench, and you have to do the little things. I thought they took care of the ball well. That was good. But in that fourth quarter, they gave up 5 offensive rebounds and 7 second chance points in the fourth quarter that turned out to be huge in the victory for the Clippers.
I know a lot of people point fingers to DeAndre Ayton. He didn't have one of his better games, of course, especially on the offensive boards. Who do you feel needs to step up there? I mean, that's the kind of player you are. You're a guy in there banging it up underneath. Who would you like to see that could come in there and hopefully make a difference here?
Well, yeah, I think it's got to be a team effort. You just can't point at one guy. Listen, the Clippers are a big team. You got Ivica Zubac as a starter. You got Mason Plumlee as your secondary center. They're both big guys. They're both aggressive, and they both stay around the basket. So it's going to be everybody to go in there and help out. It's going to be Torrey Craig. It's going to be Josh Okogie. Even Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. It's going to be, when you get to the playoffs, it's a team effort. If you're waiting for one guy to do it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I mean, you look at everybody around the league. If you have a chance to watch those games, at times it was other people. You can't expect one person, and that's the Suns need to look in the mirror as a group and say, hey, I need to do a little bit more. And everybody around that in that locker room has to go, yeah, I can see where I need to do a little bit more and help out in this scenario.
So you tell me that Chris Paul with a team-high 10 rebounds is not going to do it for this team?
No, not at all. It's nice when you see guards hang out and gobble up those long rebounds. You love to see when they stay in there and finish the defensive possession off. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, the other guys need to step up as well. They need to do more of their job for sure.
So Tim, I guess the question is that just a want to as far as rebounding? I mean, because you're looking at what were the fundamental breakdowns for these offensive boards by the Clippers? Were the Suns anxious to get out on the break and figured since they had the big men out that they get the rebounding? And at what point did they realize, man, we need to crash the boards so these guys don't get their second chance points, that being the Clippers?
Yeah, well, throughout the beginning of the game, they did a halfway decent job. Obviously, you're going to get offensive rebounds throughout the game, and you want to minimize the second chance points, and they did that. And, all told, I think the number was only 12 second chance points off of 9 rebounds. So they had 12 offensive rebounds and for the game. So with that, anything, around 12, 13 points, you're like, okay, you can live with that. But they gave up 5 in the fourth quarter. That gave up 7 second chance points. So as a group and as a game, you can look at it. But, it's when you get the stops, when you make the plays. And the Suns needed to make the plays in the fourth quarter once the game gets tight. Let's face it, this is the 4 or 5 seed. This is the closest matchup for the teams that kind of mimic each other the most throughout the entire season. So, these games are supposed to be close. It's the playoffs, So it is those little things, and you have to do them for 48 minutes. You can't have slip-ups in the last minute of the game, and all of a sudden give them 5-7 points, in the last 50 seconds of the game. You have to take care of those little things.
Tim Kempton is our guest. Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910 on the Wright Toyota guest line. Tim, I want to get to the center position real quick because you're so familiar with being down on that low block. I thought Zubats played tremendous, and I also thought that Mason Plumlee coming in off the bench, he went 3 for 3, had like 8 rebounds, and defended extremely well. And it just felt like that Ayton didn't have an answer for either one of those guys, and neither did Biyombo. Jock Landale tried, but I don't think he got enough playing time. Did you expect Zubats and Plumlee to have that big of impact in Game 1?
Well, they came out and did what they do during the year. They don't do anything crazy. But when they get the ball around the basket, it's usually on a high percentage pick and roll shot. When they're on the offensive glass getting rebounds, because you look at it, there was a couple of times where DeAndre stepped up to stop a driving player someplace else, and that, of course, that's going to leave Zubac open on the back end if the secondary defender doesn't crack down on him. So you could pick apart the numbers, but how did they come? Look at the film. You really have to watch the film, especially in playoff series, to see what you did wrong. But that's Zubac and Mason Plumlee's strength. They're going to play within 5 to 10 feet of the basket. Did one of their buckets come on a jump shot? Nope. Everything Zubac scored was a little jump hook. Everything that Mason Plumlee scored was a dunk or an offensive rebound.
3 minutes.
They're playing around the basket, so they're a big team. You have to put a body on it. If DeAndre rotates to help someone else out, the next guy has to crack down on them. So those are the little things that you just have to be so cognizant with in a playoff series, because everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and you're going to see them for at least 4 games.
Tim Monty talked about in the presser that the Suns never really had the kind of offensive flow that they had at the end of the year. Define what he's talking about, and what exactly were some of the lack of flow there in that fourth quarter.
Well, you could go back to the first quarter where Kevin Durant goes 0 for 4 and Devin Booker goes 3 of 8. They were all shots they were very capable of. Devin had a bunch of mid-range shots that were coming up short. So when you don't get that confidence early, everything tends to be a struggle. Now you're playing catch-up.
2 minutes.
And you're like, oh, we got to match the Clippers. We can't let them go on it. And to their credit, in that third quarter, they looked like the Suns. They came out. They had a 9-point lead at one time, but then the Clippers answered, and it's 81-81 going into the fourth quarter. So at spurts they had it, but it looked like the Clippers had it for longer periods of time, and that's why they came out with the win.
Tim, I know, all the talk about Kevin Durant and him being on this team and them being undefeated with him. And, we were having a discussion before you came on about, I believe that this is still Book's team. And it feels like some fans out there think, oh, no, this is Kevin Durant's team because of who Kevin Durant is. But at the end of the game, who do you want to give the ball to? I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer. But right now, under the circumstances, who are you giving the ball to?
Well, again, it's for me, it's circumstantial. Who's the matchup?
Okay.
I think Devin Booker still, because of the people that are going to guard him. They had Eric Gordon on him a couple of times. Mm-hmm. That's an advantage to Devin Booker right there. Like in the instance on that last play, Devin Booker had it. Who was guarding him? Russell Westbrook. What does Russell Westbrook do? He's an elite athlete, and in the playoffs, we saw throughout the first 47 minutes how physical they're letting him play. If I was Booker, I may have, I know Devin Booker's a great player, and you want to make those plays, but there might have been a better matchup for the Suns on that last play when Devin Booker tried to take Russell Westbrook off the dribble. So for me, it's circumstances. Do I like Devin? Do I think Devin made a poor choice in going at Russell Westbrook? No. But when you can look at it the next day and see film and watch it, now you and I could have all the right answers, and that's what I'm saying to your question. But no, I still, like Devin Booker, but yeah, you want the best opportunity. So if you have a better, if when they had Russell Westbrook on Kevin Durant, what were they doing? They were going to Kevin Durant. There was a couple of times in the low post, a couple of times where Kevin took him off the dribble and just shot over him. So that's the chess game that you play in the playoffs, is trying to find your best strength to use to your best advantage.
He's one of the best. Tim Kempton, color analyst for the Phoenix Suns. Tim, appreciate it as always. We'll be listening tomorrow, man. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
Tim Kempton joining us here on Rocket Manooch with Jimmy B on the Right Toyota guest line, and he is brought to you by today All City Towing. As they continue to grow, they got new vehicles that they're adding to their fleet, and they need to hire. So go to their website, allcitytowing.com. You can find out all the information about their incredible benefits, their 401k, and all that good stuff. Head it to allcitytowing.com. That's allcitytowing.com, and just search careers.